just got laid off or you think it might happen soon. Now what? PayPal laid off 2,500 people. Square did the same with 1,000 employees. eBay also cut 1,000 people. JPL 530, Uber 168. I think you get the point. A lot of these layoffs happen very abruptly and cause a lot of employees to scramble in uncertainty. Hi, I'm Janet, a recent MBA graduate working in the B2B fintech industry. I'm also behind Doing Well, which provides monthly bookkeeping and personal finance coaching for individuals. According to the WARN Act, if an employer has over 100 employees, they need to give a 60-day layoff notice if they're planning to lay off over 50 employees. But if you don't work in a large company that's mandated to use the WARN notice, there are still signs that you can look out for to see if there potentially could be a layoff coming. The first thing to look out for are large budget cuts. Have you noticed a substantial decrease in spending for projects, events, or even employee benefits? Changes in company performance. Are there signs of decline in sales, client acquisition, or market share? If you work at a startup, are there signs that product market fit isn't quite there? Increase in closed door meetings. Have you noticed a change in transparency from leadership when it comes to future plans or challenges? The goal here is not to preemptively freak out and be super anxious, but you can use this time effectively to make sure your financial, professional, and insurance needs are covered. Let's get into the ways that you could prepare in these 3 different areas. You might have heard this before, but in case you need a reminder, make sure you have an emergency fund built up. Typically, people say to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. But in this economy, you might need to save up even more than that. It is not uncommon in this market to take multiple months to find another job. So make sure you have enough saved up in your emergency fund. Ideally in a high yield savings account so you can at least get around 4% and you have easy access to. Minimize your credit card and high interest debt. You should always be doing this, but especially now, because if you do lose your job, that high interest every month is going to feel suffocating. Have the discipline to create a budget, control your spending habits, and have a debt repayment plan so that you can bring down those outstanding balances. And give yourself the breathing room in case anything happens. If you need help with this, feel free to reach out. Understand the severance packages. This will obviously vary greatly between companies, but you should look at details like the duration of the severance pay, the continuation of benefits, and any additional support that they can provide. You want to gather as much intel as possible right now. If you work at a large company that has done layoffs in the past, you can reach out to former colleagues to see if they're able to share any information. There are also public forums like Reddit or Blind where people speak more candidly about their severance packages and you can ask follow-up questions. Professional preparation. This should be done periodically regardless, but make sure you have your resume updated and include the latest projects that you've worked on in your most recent position. Please have people you trust or mentors edit and give you feedback on your resume. Keep it sharp. The same goes for your skills and certifications. If you look at a lot of job applications and it's asking for skills that you currently do not have, it might be wise to take up a course to continue upscaling. Or if you know that you're generally weaker in a certain area, there's a ton of online content, both free and low cost, for you to improve on your own. All that may be table stakes. You have to also remember that you have to keep your network warm and proactively set up coffee chats and informational meetings with people that are in your network and slightly outside of it, because that's where the best opportunities and referrals can come from. You need to build those genuine and long-term relationships before you need them. So it's better to start now and have many people rooting for you and thinking of you anytime an opportunity comes up. Health insurance and benefits. First off, understand your current benefits. Some people never actually look that deep into it. You should know your health insurance coverage, dental and vision coverage, retirement plans, education and personal development budget, and any other perks provided by your employer. Take note of the coverage details, deductible, and duration post-employment. Schedule your health appointments now. Make sure you use your healthcare benefits as soon as possible. So any routine checkups that you've been putting off, schedule those now, including your dental visits, eye doctor appointments, or any other pending medical procedures. Let's say the layoffs actually do come and you're affected. This is why having a clear budget and knowing your expenses is so essential. You want to cut down on the non-essentials and prioritize the non-negotiables, which for most people will include housing, food, insurance, transportation costs. Once you've mapped out your essentials, then you can focus on reducing the unnecessary expenses, such as restaurants, subscriptions, or leisure shopping and travel. To help you out, we put together a budget categories guide, broken down by fixed necessities, variable expenses, and negotiable expenses, and even included the percentages to give you a rough benchmark of what it should be. Feel free to grab it down below. Now let's talk retirement plans. A good majority of companies do offer a company retirement plan. That's great. But what happens if you get laid off or leave the company? Too many people just kind of leave it there and not know that they have options. So let me break it down for you real quick. There's 3 different options you can take, and obviously caveat that this is going to really be dependent on your personal situation. But generally speaking, you can A, leave it with your former former employer's plan. Pro here is that you don't have to do anything, the fees are what they are, and it just kind of sits there. The con here is that there's not a lot of flexibility. You might be paying for fees that you really don't need to be because it's in a 401k not managed by you. If a company gets bought out by another company and it changes hands a couple of times, there have been stories of people struggling to get access to their money because they have to go through so much red tape. And because you don't work there, you can't contribute to that 401k anymore. So it just kind of sits there. Option B is to roll over into your new employer's 401k. The pro is that you can consolidate and not have multiple retirement accounts at different companies. The con is that it does take some paperwork and legwork to get it done, but it might be worth it to have everything in one place. Option C is to roll it into an individual retirement account, IRA. You get greater investment flexibility and choice, potentially lowering your fees. And unlike leaving your 401k with your former employer, you can consistently contribute to your IRA. The con is with this extra flexibility that you need to kind of know what you're doing a little bit more because you have more options, which I think is a good thing. There's also government financial assistance programs that you should look into and see if you qualify. I'll link them down below. First, there's unemployment insurance, and you should apply as soon as you know you got laid off. And it's to provide temporary financial assistance for people who lose their job due to no fault of their own. There's also student loan deferment or forbearance, and this allows you to temporarily reduce or postpone your payments if you're experiencing financial hardship. This will vary greatly by state, but you should also look into health insurance options for low or no income families. And there's also the option to apply for COBRA, which allows you to keep your company health benefits for a limited time after you lose your job. But for all of this, time is of the essence. There are certain windows of time where you can apply, so don't sleep on this. After you cover your basics, then it's about finding your next position. Yes, getting your resume, your LinkedIn, and your network dialed in is a given. Yes, applying to jobs every week and staying on top of it is a given. However, don't forget the importance of maintaining your mental health. If you look online, you'll see a lot of people struggling to find jobs for 3 months, 6 months, or even over a year. All those rejections have a major toll on your own mental health. So make sure that you have people around you that support you. Give yourself opportunities to breathe, explore hobbies, and still enjoy life. If the stress is getting too much for you, I have a video about how to get into therapy. And if you need help with budgeting and understanding your personal finances, those are the services that Doing Well provides. I also put together a list of dozens of other job platforms beyond just LinkedIn and Indeed where you can find your next opportunity. I'll be sharing them in a blog post and video very soon.